Okay, so we had a successful print of our temperature tower, and 225 is going to work with the cooling parameters we had, which is zero speed on the fan on the first layer, and then 100% after that. So with that, we get good extrusion. So now we're going to need to test the strength of our total settings here. So it's both the temperature and the cooling lead to how well your bed and layer adhesion works. Also your bed temperature. That also is bed. That's most where a lot of the bed adhesion comes from. So this is a test that I made up. It's a right angle print with a raised lettering and indented lettering. And it helps you test easily in less than an hour how well your bed temperature is set up and your extrusion and cooling settings are working. So in any case, we're going to print this up on the machine, and this angle here, the strength of this angle will tell us how well our layer adhesion is working. So let's go ahead and load this into Simplify 3D. Again, a link to this is in the show notes, so this is on Thingiverse for free. You can use this on your own system. All right, so over here in Simplify 3D, here's our model, and I set up a new process for HZST, which is our filament we're testing. And it's got our parameters. It's got a 50-degree bed temperature and 225 extrusion temperature. And on the cooling, again, it's 0 on the first layer, 100% on the rest of the layers. Everything else is standard. The first layer, I didn't talk about this, but usually the first layer height on all PLAs I'm using is at 90%, and I extrude 110%. That gives good bed adhesion and gives a good first layer for the rest of the layers to go on. So you can just play with these as you want. And then the first layer speed 50%. I think the default is 35, but I found 50% works fine and speeds up the prints by at least 5 minutes or so, depending on how big of a first layer you have. It can make a huge difference. So this is what I've been using. And then 3 top solid layers, 3 solid bottom layers, and 2 shells. That's pretty standard for me. And the infill, we're only doing 20% on this model. Most of the stuff I print at 50% infill with the standard angles and so forth. And again, the extruder's on auto. That'll save time. So, all right, so then we're going to print this up, and it's going to take about 50 minutes. So again, add about 3 or 4 minutes to that for what it'll actually take on the printer. So we'll switch over to the time lapse. Okay, let's see how it turned out. I don't see any major defects. Hopefully it's strong, then we'll be off to the races there. So bed adhesion is perfect. I'm pushing on this pretty hard. It's holding. I could probably break it if I push hard enough. But I think the layer adhesion is good. This wall is not cracking at all, so. And the details are pretty good. Some sagging in here, but again, we don't really have any overhangs you have to worry about with what we're printing, so. Probably could print at 200. I think we're going to try 3D fill at 200 and see what happens. Actually, belay that. With lower temperatures, we're going to have worse layer adhesion, so I'm not worried about the sagging. It's not going to affect our printing, so we'll go with 205 on 3D fill, and then we'll compare this color to this color. You can kind of see it now. This is a little bit more matte. It does have some shine to it, which is okay. But it's definitely a different color. And you can see some of the blue in here. I can see it. There's no blue in this. It's all silver, so. But it's got a little bit of a shine, so I like that. I thought it was going to be all matte, but it's not. Alright, so we're going to print 3D fill, and that'll confirm that this is the right filament for our project. Alright, 3D fill and gunmetal is done. Let's see how we did. Bed adhesion is perfect, so the feet are really clean. This has some overhangs. You can see there's a little bit of drooping here on his hands. It's 45 degree, there's a little bit of drooping. His head looks good, so let's compare him to the silver. And you can see that has the right different color variation that I'm looking for. And I might spend some more time dialing this in to maybe print at 200 and see if I get rid of this drooping and still have the layer adhesion. So I think I'll try that. I think I'll print this again at 200, and if it still has good strength, then I'll check this drooping on the lettering here and see if that's okay. So see if that improves any. All right, but basically we're looking good for this filament. We can print it basically one way or another, and the color is the variation we want. Definitely looks gunmetal instead of silver. So let's finish up this video. I'll let you know how it turned out with the 200 print, and also I will show you the final product once it's done. All right, last shot. This is 195, and we're going to compare and see if there's much difference here. So bed adhesion is still perfect, and if we look, here's the 200. There's slightly less sagging on the top of the C. So that's an improvement. The B is about the same. I would say slightly better. And the strength is still good. Now, of course, it helps to let this completely cool off before you start tweaking it, but strength is still okay. So we're going to go with 195. Might be able to go lower, but I just don't want to spend any more time on it. So if for some reason when I print fails, I'll come back to it. So anyway, so I'll go ahead and do my actual product and come back and show you the final product. All right, so here's my final product versus the ones you can get at Galaxy's Edge. So this is the gunmetal, and this is the silver. So you see there's a difference in color there. So that's what we wanted, because on the official ones, this has a darker. It's not really gunmetal. In the show, it's gunmetal. In the Book of Boba Fett show, it's gunmetal. But in this case, they took the same alloy and just put a darkening wash on it. So this is the silver. So if you put them next to each other, shiny parts is basically the same. A little bit, slightly different, but I think it's just been polished slightly differently. And these are the other ones that were shown in the show. So this is my copper one versus the one you get at Galaxy's Edge. And here's my gold one versus the official one. So these are my replicas, prop replicas of the credits found in the Book of Boba Fett. They show up in his helmet and a couple other scenes, like at the butcher shop. So the gunmetal from the gunmetal filament we found, you can check the link in the show notes for the exact one we used. Really came out great. It looks better if you put them next to each other. There you can see this one. It's got the blue in it, and this is just silver. And of course the other side, flip that over. So these are all double-sided, just like the originals. Okay, so again, gunmetal, you can see the blue versus silver. Alright, that's my product. So there's a link to this product in the show notes. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Post a comment if you have any questions or ideas, and I'll try to respond. That's all for now, but more videos are coming, and if you want to see them, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification icon if you don't want to miss one. This is Beta Signy signing out, and keep looking up.